Good morning. This morning I was doing my prayer and Bible study, and the verse of the day today is Philippians 4:19. And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. And this one really resonated with me. Those of you that follow me know that I recently relocated to Texas so that I can be here with or close by my parents because my father had a stroke, or he had a series of strokes actually, and in June and the beginning of July. So I wanted to be here to help him through his rehab and, just to be a support to him and my mother. We did this before in 2020. He had a stroke, and he was very sad about it, and he had to learn how to do everything all over again, and it was just very frustrating for him. But one thing that he didn't lose was his mental faculties. He knew exactly what he wanted. He was really driven, and he just needed some help and support and some encouragement to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish for himself, and was very successful in that. With this stroke that he had in June, it seemed like, hey, here's the same thing. It's going to happen again. We're in this together. We can do it. We've done it before. But then he had another set of strokes at the beginning of July. And this last one was very different, because it created a lot of cognitive issues for him. And, he wasn't in the position to be able to say, to be able to know exactly what happened to him, and to be able to say, hey, I don't like this, I want to do this, and to kind of set goals for himself and things like that. So it's very different. It's almost like, I guess he does have some dementia, like early onset, I suppose, that was really probably a result of these strokes that he had. The first one, he had some memory issues, but it was pretty minor. But this time, it's far more significant, and I find myself realizing that, hey, this is not the same rodeo. And while I was really equipped to help him the first time around, the journey is not even close to being the same, and the role that I play is not the same. It's very different because his needs are different. But what's really amazing is God, and how God shows up in your life, and how God can anticipate everything that's going to happen in your life, and God has a plan for you. He puts people in your life for a reason and for a season, and he uses the ordinary people in your life to meet your needs. Right now, what he needs, probably more than anything, is an occupational therapist. And it just so happens that my sister-in-law, who my parents live with, they just my brother and my sister were living in South Austin. My parents were living in Round Rock, which is just north of Austin. And I had been there with them last year. But now that my brother and sister-in-law were empty nesters, they decided that they were going to buy a house that was very close to where my parents were and were renting, and put a plan in place for them to all come together and live together so that they could be a support to them. Little did they know that my father was going to have a stroke. He was going to have these cognitive deficits, and that he was going to be in true need of someone that had the capacity to really help him through this journey, that had been trained for it, that has the personality for it, the great demeanor for it, and it so happens that my sister-in-law has a lot of experience because her mother actually, I think, has Alzheimer's, and her mother wasn't necessarily receptive to her helping her. And, so now I think that my sister-in-law is my dad's absolute favorite person these days. And Angie just gets so much joy and satisfaction out of helping him. So she does things like gets him up, and, she gives him his medication, and, helps him with his activities of daily living, like getting up and brush your teeth, and, washing your face and getting dressed, and, um, taking baths, and, all kinds of stuff. And, she just has such a wonderful demeanor as well. She doesn't get frustrated. She, gives him his agency while, helps him, and he cooperates with her. It's just amazing. So, I think that none of that is, well, let me take that back. I think it's all by design. Because I was talking to Angie, and I was like, how did you end up being an occupational therapist? And she's telling me a story how, I went to college and I wanted to be a dentist, and then I had to take all these different classes that were very, very difficult for me, and I wasn't thriving. And I'm like, I got to do something different. And she just chanced upon occupational therapy, and really the classes, the I guess the prereqs for occupational therapy, those type of classes she really liked and enjoyed. So she kind of fell into it, but it wasn't intentional. And look here. Now, 30 years later, here she is, and she's helping my father, and she's right there. It's not accidental. They live together. They're together every single day. And he's getting all of his needs met according to the riches of his glory in Jesus Christ. And it is a wonderful thing. So shout out to God for his vision, his wisdom, his provision, his grace, his mercy, his love, all of it. And thank you for the people that he has placed in our lives to help meet our needs. So that is my story and my testimony today. You guys have a fantastic day.